Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Monday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It feels like for the first time in quite a while, we regather here on a Victory Monday. Happy because it is a Victory Monday for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Yesterday, the black and gold somehow did it. They overcame the opposition. They overcame a little bit of the officiating, even though I think many are arguing the Steelers had some favorable calls in that game. But most importantly, the Steelers, they did not beat themselves up yesterday too much, and they beat the hated Baltimore Ravens 27-22. Tonight, we will start off talking about that game, some more reactions to that. In a few moments, we'll go over a quick recap of the game so that we have everything that happened fresh in our minds. We'll go over some winners and losers from that game as well. And of course, your comments and thoughts on the game will be featured and discussed as well. So get those in the comment section here in a second. After that, we'll get into a little bit of the other top stories going around Pittsburgh sports right now, including the Pittsburgh Penguins. They just wrapping up a 2-game road trip down to Tampa and then over to Dallas. The Pens taking 3 out of a possible 4 points on that road trip. So some success for them as well. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, they are in the headlines in the baseball world, apparently offering massive contracts to top free agents, or at least one of them per an MLB insider. We'll talk about that as well. Winter meetings for the MLB currently ongoing down in Orlando right this second. So we may even get some breaking Pittsburgh Pirates news here tonight on stream or tomorrow. Who the hell knows? We will monitor that closely. To wrap up the show, we'll then get into extra Pittsburgh sports news from the past couple of days and anything else that you guys want to talk about. So let's not waste any time anymore. Let's get right into everything. Right after I tell you, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing here on the channel. Again, like this live stream, share it so we can keep having the viewership go up on the channel. And in the comments section, any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have, get those in there as well. I enjoy interacting with you folks that way. Already got a few commenters in the comment section already. We start off the evening with them. George Pearson in here. Here we go, Steelers. Let's go, Steelers. Very much indeed there, George. THP Concepts, you gentlemen reconvening here on a Monday night. Glad to have you back as well. A-Rod did the discount double check green light with Chris Long, said it, LOL. Tough loss last night on that. So, but the Stars, they have been elite. Talking about the Penguins there. Yeah, Dallas area fan you are there, THP. Your Stars are a damn good team. I'm just happy that the Pens are able to get out of there with a point. Tristan Jarry stood on his head. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. But overall, pleased with the Penguins' performance last night, even though they did not win. Concepts in here as well. Harbaugh and the Crocodile Tears, title of his future book about coaching. Indeed it is. We saw John Harbaugh livid and, just chewing out the refs quite a few times yesterday during that game. Some of validated, others not really. Was reacting to a couple things. It was obvious that the correct call was made and he was still going to bitch up a storm. But hey, that's John Harbaugh in this rivalry for you. Like I said, going to get into the football game here to begin the show. Please, by all means, all of you in here, keep your comments on rolling. We will catch up with them as the show goes along and try to pop them up on the screen here, just like I did there. We are going to start with that big football game yesterday. The Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Somehow, some way, that game yesterday with both teams at 6-6 was for the lead in the AFC North. And with a win for one team, their chances of winning the division and making the playoffs skyrocketed. For the other team that lost, then playoffs very, very much on the outside looking in. But looking here at the game yesterday, some excitement for the Steelers on the field, some excitement off the field as well. Let me find out where I have my notes here. Here we go. I was trying to buy time. All right, let's do this. Of course, every Monday we begin with a recap of the most recent game. Typical AFC North game yesterday, wild and entertaining from start to finish between the Steelers and the Ravens. Heading into yesterday's game, we actually found out some news on the Steelers. They debuting two new wide receivers, Adam Thielen, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Thought that was some pretty important news to put out there. The ball game started yesterday with the Ravens on offense, Steelers on defense. They moved the ball pretty quickly into field goal range, but a big third down PBU by Brandon Echols covering Zay Flowers forced Baltimore to settle for an opening field goal. It wasn't all that surprising that Baltimore put up points on their first drive against the Steelers defense, coming off that disastrous performance against the Bills a week prior, but helping ease the tension a little bit, I think, for all of us and on the Steelers defense. The Steelers offense, they did something truly remarkable by their standards of late. Now, they did score an opening drive touchdown. We've seen them do that a couple of times this season, but how they did it was something that they haven't done in quite a while. First offensive play from scrimmage, Steelers, they broke their streak of 5 games without completing a pass over 20 air yards as Aaron Rodgers drops a beautiful 52-yard rainbow in a bucket to DK Metcalf down the right sideline. This was also the longest completion by a Steelers quarterback in terms of air yards since Mason Rudolph had a pass of 44 air yards to George Pickens in 2023. So quite a while we've been waiting to see a big play, explosive play like that from the Steelers. The rest of that drive wasn't as pretty as that throw. Steelers ultimately did, on 3rd and goal, get into the end zone. Baltimore trying to stop the Steelers' running game again. They were able to stifle them on the first 2 downs. 3rd down, Aaron Rodgers looking to pass, and the fresh 42-year-old just had his birthday a couple of weeks ago. Rodgers scrambles out to the left, got the angle on the Ravens defense, and waltzed into the end zone, hitting that discount double-check Selly for his first rushing touchdown since 2021. I know that had us all fired up at the time, and I didn't want to say it on stream, but I thought, at that time, all right, if Rodgers is doing that today, feeling that spry, then I'm expecting big things from him for the rest of the game. That turned out to be true. After those back-to-back drives ending in points, the rest of the first quarter was a punting contest. Baltimore, Pittsburgh exchanging 3 and outs. Steelers almost had a conversion on their second drive. That was a 3 and out. If Calvin Austin caught a ball that hit him right in the chest on an outstanding play by Rodgers to keep the play alive, then Steelers would have converted, maybe still would have punted, but who knows. The Ravens then ended the first quarter with another punt. Lamar Jackson, a pass intended for Zay Flowers, was just absolutely dropped there by Flowers. Scoring resumed early in the second quarter. Chris Boswell kicking a 23-yard field goal. Didn't take long for the Steelers to get the ball back, though, and put up points again. The unexpected but incredible season of James Pierre Island, fan favorite here on the channel especially. He continued his amazing and unexpected season, picks off a scrambling Lamar Jackson 3 plays into the Ravens drive. That gave the Steelers excellent field position at the Baltimore 32. The Steelers offense, they nearly squandered that good field position, though. Complacently, they were settling for 3 again, but an unnecessary roughness penalty by the Ravens on the field goal attempt put the Steelers back into a 1st and goal situation. It then took them 1 play. Kenneth Gainwell on a pitch to the left, blocked up real nicely. He scoots into the end zone for the touchdown, 6-yard run right there for Kenny G. Even though Steelers were up 17-3 about midway through the second quarter, we all knew that the Ravens, they weren't just going to go away quietly. They relied on the legs of Derrick Henry a little bit more then, got some help from avoidable, unnecessary penalties by the Steelers. Most of those were just, bad decisions and stuff like that for them. The Ravens, they capped off a 13-play, 60-yard drive with a short scamper for Lamar Jackson. Fortunately, though, the Ravens did miss the PAT, so it remained an 18-point game, 17-9, heading into the break. Once the game was at halftime, I think we all were thinking similar thoughts. I think we echoed that same sentiment as well. Similar position to where the Steelers were just a week ago, up by a score midway through the game. The other team just put up points before halftime, and the Steelers' offense, which has been pretty terrible in the second half of games this season, especially in the third quarter, it just was setting up the same script it felt like from last week, and disaster was ahead to survive and have a hope of walking out of M&T Bank Stadium with a win. We all knew that the Steelers' offense was going to need to put up points and not rely on the defense as much, and thankfully, to at least begin the third quarter, they did just that. Again, Steelers offense beginning the half, a deep connection again between number 8 and number 4. The drive, however, did stall in the red zone, so out went Chris Boswell to put up another 3 points. As we all probably predicted, the Ravens offense, they made the proper adjustments in their locker room, and a 55-yard run right up the gut of the Steelers defense by Keaton Mitchell would set up a 4-yard touchdown pass to Isaiah Likely 3 plays later. Almost like hot knife through butter, the Steelers defense was ran through by the Ravens offense. After that, felt like the Steelers were going to do their normal shtick offensively, go 3 and out at the very least, punt the ball back to the red-hot Ravens offense, and the defense was going to get gashed again. But I'll be damned. They responded again with points. Offense overcame an early 10-yard penalty in that drive. Then Aaron Rodgers, he psychologically and with his arm just picked apart the Ravens defense. 31-yard completion to Calvin Austin III. That took the Steelers into Ravens territory. 3 plays later, Baltimore gift wrapping a touchdown for the Steelers. Jaylen Warren leaks out of the backfield to the right, wide open. He became with blockers ahead of him. Rodgers gets the ball to him quickly. He breezes down the sideline for another Steelers score. The best part about that play, if we remember it, the Steelers, they ran an identical play right before that. I believe it was a 6 or 7 yard pickup. Please don't do the damn 6-7 stupid ass thing because I said that. They ran that same play, got a decent bit of chunk yardage on that with Jaylen Warren the play prior. They go back to it, that similar identical play, and this time around, not only was Jaylen Warren wide open, Pat Freiermuth, he was wide open as well for an easy touchdown right down the middle of the field if Rodgers hits him instead. So that play was going to work. That was a 100%er that you can probably put a rookie, inexperienced Will Howard in there, and he is going to hit one of those 2 wide open for a touchdown catch and run. So I like that play. If I'm Arthur Smith, filing that one in the old cabinet for another day. Thank God the Steelers scored that touchdown because the Ravens offense, they went right back to work, methodically moving the ball downfield with their running game. But another drop by a wide receiver, I believe it was Rashad Bateman that time on 3rd down, that halted the Ravens' drive, forced them to settle for a field goal, making it an 8-point game. Again, following drive for the Steelers offense, they hurt themselves by taking a delay of game penalty on 3rd down, punt right back to the Ravens offense who just scored. Looking to tie the game, Lamar immediately hitting Zay Flowers over the middle for a 35-yard pickup, and then the legs of King Henry carried Baltimore all the way down to the red zone again. Unfortunately for Baltimore, Lamar then threw 2 straight incompletions, and the Ravens could do nothing on 4th and 8 but kick another field goal. Score at this point, 27-22. That ended up being the final score that you see on your screen there. How we got there, though, was a roller coaster and a half. The craziness of that game yesterday then turned up another level. Steelers offense, they go 3 and out. Wasn't your typical, ugly 3 plays in a row, 3 and out for the Steelers. Instead, this crazy sequence took place. Aaron Rodgers looking for either DK Metcalf or Adam Thielen wide open across the middle of the field. If he hits them, they might take it all the way for 6. It might, at the very least, be a long completion there. The pass gets batted down at the line back to Rodgers. He, at the same time with Ravens linebacker Teddy Buchanan, they both catch the ball. Rodgers looks like he might have had a little bit more of possession there. The call on the field immediately ruled an interception for Baltimore. but a long replay review determines Rodgers had possession and both knees down. So that interception that was super, super quick called an interception on the field by the referee. I have no idea why the hell he was, that quick to point it the Ravens' way instead of, just saying, hey, it was recovered by the Steelers, back to them. Instead of it being an interception, it just goes as a negative 9-yard pass. So that was crazy. Instead of Baltimore down by 5, having the ball at the Steelers 32, Pittsburgh instead punted the ball away to the Ravens 22. That was controversial call number 1. Controversial call number 2 came on the following Ravens offensive possession. Baltimore slowly moved the ball downfield again. They were mixing in some chunk plays as well from Henry and Flowers. And on 1st and 10 at the Steelers 13, it appeared that the Ravens had taken the lead on another touchdown pass over the middle to Isaiah Likely. However, because the ball came out after it looked like Likely had caught it, the officials, they went to another review and they overturned the call on the explanation of that play and why it was incomplete. Likely completed only 2 of 3 elements of what I guess the NFL is deeming a catch nowadays. He did secure the ball. He did get both feet down in bounds, but he narrowly missed the 3rd step of a catch, which is to perform some type of football move, such as take a 3rd step, which when he was about to take that 3rd step, that's when the ball was punched out right before it landed by Joey Porter Jr. Absolutely crazy play, left many confused, still has many confused, to be honest. And this is that play right there. I think that's a strong candidate of most controversial call of the season across the NFL. You got fans arguing one way, fans arguing another. That is going to be on replay for quite some time, and I guarantee that you are going to see that brought up in the winter or in the meetings this offseason for the MLB, where owners and general managers and stuff like that can make their cases for a rule change be heard. I think you might see something from the Ravens saying if the receiver has possession of the ball for more than X amount of time, or if it's clear he has both hands on the ball with 2 feet down, that should be a catch. So don't be surprised if we end up coming back to that play someday. Who knows? Back to action. Ravens, they still had 3 more opportunities after that play to score, but they failed to do so. Steelers, backs against the goal line. Ravens, they turned the ball over on downs. So great job by the Steelers D right there, tightening up when they needed to. However, 2 minutes, 22 seconds remained on the clock. Game was far from over. Steelers, they ran the ball twice, forced Baltimore to burn 2 timeouts. Then on 3rd and 7, someone on the Steelers offense, Arthur Smith, allergies. Someone on the Steelers offense decided it was a perfect idea to put out there on the field in ice cold Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who at that point was just, running cardio. I think he might have had, 10 snaps at most at that point in the game. Someone thought it was a good idea to put MVS out there and make him one of the primary targets on a slant that was then incomplete. That unnecessarily stopped the clock for the Ravens, forced a 3rd consecutive Steelers punt, and it gave Baltimore the ball back with 1:56 and 1 timeout to go win the game. Totally avoidable situation, at least, from giving the Ravens that much more time with a timeout still to play with. And the Ravens, off that, they ran a no-huddle offense for over a minute. Were not able to get out of bounds on any of those runner pass attempts, so they had to burn their final timeout with 47 seconds left. Lamar Jackson, he then alternated completions with spikes to stop the clock. At that point, Ravens well into Hail Mary range at the Steelers 39 with 9 seconds left. That moment is when we got our answer as to who was going to be the hero in the game. Lamar, for one of the many times in the game where he scrambled out of danger in the pocket, was able to tiptoe his way out of many sacks. The final attempt he had at doing that, the fire finally burned him. Alex Highsmith becomes the hero, trips up Lamar just enough for the sack. Clock runs out, and the Steelers, they win the ball game. Final score you see right there, 27-22. Head coach Mike Tomlin gets to do his signature blowing of a kiss into the camera. The team blasting, walk in your trap, take over your trap in the locker room, and the Steelers now solely in first place in the AFC North. Another chapter in the wild history between the Steelers and the Ravens. Would we expect it any other way? Absolutely not. Some more after the game. We heard from a couple of Steelers members. Tomlin, after the game, had a few things to say. Said the Steelers played with the right amount of aggressiveness in the game, leading to the win. Alex Highsmith obviously had one hell of an afternoon. Gave Highsmith his flowers. Most importantly, from his post-game press conference, we got an update on the laundry list of Steelers injuries we had in that game. We'll get to that here in a little bit. We also heard from a couple of Steelers players. Aaron Rodgers said that hopefully with that win, the media can now, quote, shut the hell up for a week. After, last week, Mike Tomlin just getting grilled all week long leading into yesterday's game. Speaking of the week leading up to the game yesterday, Rodgers also said he felt the team had their best week of preparation this season after he called out the team's readiness for the Bills post-game last week. And the last Steeler I want to mention here for their post-game comments, Adam Thielen liked what I saw from him in that game. Looked like he wasn't, lost out there in the offense. Only had one catch, but hey, baby steps. He was only, 4-5 days old on the team. A little bit surprising, but cool of a quote from him. Him saying after the game that his first game as a Steeler, he found his love for the game again. So if the Steelers don't pick up Thielen on waivers, who knows where he is? He might be on the couch right now contemplating retirement. So I thought that was cool there of Thielen. Wrapping up this recap of the game. All in all, yesterday, I think we can all agree it was a breath of fresh air. It was starting to get a little, exhausting coming on here, talking about the Steelers losing in the same ways every Monday and then beating the Ratbirds. That will brighten up any Steeler fans' day. However, I do, unlike some other Steeler fans today, want to celebrate this win, but also keep things in perspective here. Yes, we knocked off our most hated rival, and yes, we control our own destiny towards making the playoffs, which is to, keep stacking wins, win the AFC North. But I don't want to treat yesterday's game like it is some sort of, everything is okay now sort of situation, because it's not. This team still has massive issues, and I believe that everything is all still tracking towards a 9-8 record with a blowout loss in the wild card round. Because the team really hasn't showed anything to make me think otherwise. You can almost wash out this win against the Ravens. It counts the same in the standings, but you never know what to expect in these type of games. The Steelers could be, winless, and the Ravens could be undefeated, and I still wouldn't be shocked if you got a result like that. So I do want to keep things in perspective there. Still, I think a bit of a, bleak lookout for the rest of the season here, outlook, as you would say. However, even though my view on the team has not changed today, it still could before the end of the season. Steelers, they play that same aggressive style for the rest of the season. That results in, more eye-pleasing wins, then I'll change my mind a little bit probably. Felt like they let Aaron Rodgers do his thing yesterday, and he marched to the beat of his own drum, and look, the offense looked, pretty pretty confident and what's the word I'm looking for? Pretty confident there. Also competent. That's the word I was looking for. They put up points, to begin the second half, kept the offense engaged. They didn't, have their typical slump after halftime. And the defense, seeing the offense put up those points, they were able to pin their ears back and pressure Lamar a ton. So I will take the Steelers doing what they did yesterday 9 times out of 10 over, their normal dink and dunk offense and a defense that barely sends any blitzes the quarterback's way. So my final message to the Steelers, way to escape with the win. Please, please continue to fix that run defense. It was better, but still very, very bad. It wasn't, terrible. It was just plain bad. And carry this momentum into next Monday night's game against the Dolphins, because that is when they play next. So this time next week, we will be on, about this time next week in, 2 hours. We will be ready for kickoff between the Dolphins and the Steelers. So there you go. That's it for the game recap and my initial thoughts. Steelers back in first place. Is there hope? Not yet, but they play like that some more, then maybe that will be worthy of getting our hopes up. So we will come back, put a rain check in this hope feeling, and come back to it another time. Let's go back here to the comments section. You guys getting your comments in during that. Going to catch up to them. Concepts here, heart attack game, every game, to be honest. I will take a heart attack game because, having a heart attack game and pulling out a win, at least it was better than knowing, when you get past the second quarter that the game's pretty much over, that the game is pretty much over. Like past couple of games for the Steelers, you've been able to, in the third quarter or something like that, pick out one play and say, yep, that's the nail in the coffin. No coming back from that. Might as well shut it off. At least this time around, it wasn't really like that. You were engaged the whole game. And I think that's all we could ask for, to be honest. Wasn't a 30-yard quarterback rushing touchdown like I predicted, but great nonetheless. Talking about the Aaron Rodgers scamper. Going to bring up Rodgers in the winners and losers segment coming up here in a moment. I think you can guess what category he is in. It's like every game is becoming a heart attack game at this point, says Freight Train. I think we all aged 5 years yesterday. I now all of a sudden, feel like my knees are creaking a little bit more. Just got to start watching my blood pressure and all that. So, definitely watching Steelers football will aid you. Avoided the first quarter collapse barely. I will take a barely avoiding the collapse as a start. Now let's keep progressing and, make it a trend where, hey, our fans don't need to be sitting on pins and needles for the first couple of drives after halftime. Baby steps here, baby steps. Pierre Island is the GOAT there from Concepts. Indeed, I mean, geez, that has got to be one of the more, out of nowhere developments to happen in, recent Steelers history, maybe Steelers history as well. Just in a random 2025 season, a career-long special teamer, James Pierre, then turned himself into one of the, top 20 lockdown corners in the NFL. I mean, he's probably not there yet, but I mean, he's getting close and he's continuing to produce. So how about that there, Concepts? Pierre Island still doing his thing. Mark Andrew was a Steeler fan yesterday. He blocked the D. Hopkins touchdown. I did see that one Ravens drive late in the game that stalled out. I think it was it after that likely touchdown got called back or not? Trying to remember back now. But yeah, Hopkins wide open in the back of the end zone and Andrews running across the field right in front of that pass, sticks his hand up and ball is incomplete. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Looking here, CA3 shoestring tackle was insane by Awuzie. He was gone. If not, that deep completion to Calvin Austin the third, another go ball. Finally, one of these go balls to, the shorter wide receivers on the Steelers. They weren't, jump ball 50-50. It was actually, put out in front of them and they could run under it a little bit. That's what Austin was able to do. Rodgers putting it on the money. And Awuzie just barely getting the shoestring. Austin was way gone. And we're probably talking about that as probably the most explosive play of the season for the Steelers if he's able to house that one. Said the oldest player to catch a pass other than Jerry Rice. Not sure where you're going there, THP. Let's go here. My dad in here. Highsmith, my man. Indeed. Made the big play. Also, Highsmith did that with a bit of an injury as well, so that makes it all that much more commendable. You just don't understand Artie Smith's genius. Show some respect. Talking about the MVS slant. It's up there with, remember last year when the Steelers were still trying to do that half-ass rotation between Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and they put in Fields late in the Browns snow globe game, and he had to throw a pass when he was on the sideline for the entire game. That one was up there. I guess hopefully MVS doesn't, now become Arthur Smith's Cordero Patterson or Michael Pruitt when, they haven't played a single snap all game. Let's put him out there in the fourth quarter, see if they can make a play for us. If you're going to put the ball in the air at that point in the game, make sure it's a completion and make sure it's going to the right guy. At that point in the game, Metcalf is red hot. I don't care if he had, 12 targets at that. Give him 13 in that case. I'm rather putting the ball in my $150 million wide receiver than I am to a guy I just elevated off the practice squad. So no, I will not be giving any respect to Arthur Smith's genius right there. Concepts here again. Glad it was Alex making the final big play, shot out of a cannon final play, and that after getting banged up earlier in the game. So many players showed incredible heart, PQ toughness, 20 out of 10. Pretty much that Steelers defense by the end of that ball game held together by duct tape and hopes and dreams, because everyone at some point, it felt like, got dinged up in that game. Highsmith and Queen among those. And also I love how they continued to just pound this Ravens offensive line into submission. There wasn't a single matchup across the board yesterday where it felt like the Ravens had the advantage over the Steelers. There wasn't, really one matchup they could exploit, pass protection wise. So like that from Alex. Great job all the way around there. Looking here. Seeing other comments here. Concepts. DK needs about 65 yards in each remaining game to top 1,000. I'd honestly give him enough targets a game to give him a chance to reach that. At this point for the rest of the year, Metcalf, I want to see him get as close, if not over, double-digit targets every game. The ball's going to him every other, maybe every third at most pass, because you just got to get that guy humming, and when he is moving, he's unstoppable. So, please keep DK going. Get him multiple targets again. And when you get the ball to him in space, hard to bring down. So definitely all aboard that idea there. Concepts. Talking about the Rodgers catch. Someone said it on another podcast, catching a pass. Yeah, okay. Rodgers catching that self pass. Yeah, oldest guy since Jerry Rice to catch a pass. Yeah. Sounds like it could be a joke, but also probably not. That might be the oldest guy ever for a reception, unless, wasn't Mercedes Lewis a tight end? Mercedes Lewis, he played till he was pretty old. He's still playing even, I think. Wonder if he had a reception at all, so we'll see that. Rans87 in here. Welcome, Rans. Man, what a game. Rodgers even did the discount double check. He believes they're going to the division to be division champs for sure. He won't do that celebration unless he feels it. Yeah, vintage Rodgers right there. I think we all had flashbacks to our younger days seeing him do that. Keep seeing all the different, reels and memes on Instagram and stuff like that of Rodgers flashing back to his Green Bay days. So, Rodgers was definitely feeling it yesterday. I get it, 42-year-old quarterback. I think he's even said before, some days, you feel better than others, but that just gives me hope for him for the rest of the season. And maybe he could be the one guy that changes my outlook on what this season could be. Because, when he's on, he shows that he's still that 4-time MVP dude who's just going to psychologically pick you apart and then, put the ball through a keyhole every single time. So, yeah, Rodgers definitely was feeling it yesterday. Hopefully he continues to feel it and takes whatever mojo he had there into the next game and then the one after that and so on and so forth. You got Tortilla Jackson in here. Welcome. Torsha Jackson, maybe. I apologize if I mispronounced that name. Even Mike Tomlin hit the discount double check. That was funny. I love the side-by-side shot of those two doing that. That felt like, all right, maybe this game isn't going to be a blowout like what we expected. Maybe the Steelers are actually going to be competitive in this one. When I saw that, THP here, Lewis has 0 catches. Okay, just trying to think of, old receivers, in the league nowadays. Not too many. Guys seem to be retiring earlier and earlier now in their NFL careers. Okay, Tortilla is correct. I can't spell. Okay, my bad there. Just wanted to make sure I get that right. But yeah, totally awesome. That comment there. Tomlin doing the discount double check as well. That's probably, what Tomlin envisioned when he recruited Rodgers in the offseason. Envisioned Rodgers throwing dimes to DK Metcalf and hitting discount double checks on the Ravens' own field. That was probably Tomlin's, vision when he brought in those two guys this offseason to a T. So that was definitely awesome to see there. Absolutely. AB will return after his prison time at 50 and be catching touchdowns. AB going to then see that record and be like, I can break one more record. We'll see if AB is out of prison by 50. I don't know what all is going on in that situation anymore, so I'm not going to speculate any further. 14 of you in here. We are already 40 minutes into the live stream here tonight. Time flying by here. Let's keep things moving here. You guys can keep your comments coming here in the comments section. THP, by the way, did see your comments about your ventures for sports apparel, the Sharks jersey. That's awesome to see there. Keep your comments coming in the comments section. Going to change things here a little bit. Let's start with the winners and losers segment of yesterday's ball game. Finally, we are able to label some clear winners here. Past couple of games, it's been like, this guy made one play. It's one more play than everyone else on the team, so I guess we can label him as a winner. No, we actually do have some concrete winners and losers here today, so that is exciting. Winner number 1. Told you guys we were going to go back to him. Aaron Rodgers. He has to be winner number 1. He is the man who I believe the Steelers, they must live and die with for the rest of the season. No training wheels, no safety guidelines, none of that. Let Rodgers be Rodgers. Go out there, give him full autonomy and control of the offense whenever he feels like. Let him do his thing, because I think he did most of that yesterday, and look how it turned out. The offense looked better than it did for the past month and a half. So I will take that from Rodgers all day long. Didn't have the most, godly statistics yesterday. 23 for 34, nearly 300 passing yards, 284 there, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. So could he have thrown a couple more touchdown passes? I'm sure he could have, but hey, still eye test wise, passed with flying colors. High difficulty throws he put on the money. Flawlessly did that all game. 42 years old, had that rushing touchdown, but besides that was still buying time on scrambles, sliding around the pocket, looking like he's 28 years old. All around, Rodgers passing the eye test yesterday. Very positive sign that he can still turn it on and be dominant when he's feeling good. And I also think that performance yesterday, it might have me starting to think that maybe we were a little too harsh on him and giving him a little bit too much blame on the Steelers' struggles over the past month, because when it looks like he was finally, given control of, everything allowed to, I wouldn't say allowed, but it looked like he was, thinking the game and anticipating and dissecting on a higher level than what we've seen from him recently. So hopefully this Rodgers comes out more often than the Rodgers that we've seen before. Great game from him. He is winner number one. Loser number one from yesterday's game. I think this one is pretty obvious as well. The Steelers' run defense, they did do a good job making Lamar Jackson uneasy in the pocket all afternoon, but their run defense was still expectedly terrible. I mean, yeah, I get that you have no Derek Harmon and you have really no depth beyond him, and you did face King Henry, but still you are allowed to, hold him to, around 150 yards instead of another 200, because that's now back-to-back games. The Steelers on the ground have given up 200 yards, and they would be the main talking point today, quite frankly, had the Steelers have lost that game, because they were outgained 210 yards to 3 from when the Steelers put up their final points of the day at the 3-minute and 30-second mark in the third quarter to the end of the game. From the time the Steelers put up their last points of the day to the end of the game, the Steelers gave up 210 rushing yards, or 210 yards total. Can't happen. And that's the exact thing that has me worried the most and doesn't have me wavering on my feelings about this team at all. Still giving up tons of yardage, especially late in the ball games. What do you think is going to happen in a playoff game? It's going to maybe be the worst playoff performance that we've seen, and that would be quite a feat out of all the terrible, wild card games we've seen in recent history. So hopefully they're able to figure it out. If Derek Harmon is going to continue to miss some time here with his knee injury, they have got to try something new or someone new at this point. Go the route you did at wide receiver on offense. Bring in 2 new guys. See if it can give you a jump start on the D-line, because this cannot continue to happen, especially, looking at the rest of the schedule here. Fantastic running backs. Devon Achane, you got him coming up Monday night with the Dolphins. Assuming he plays. I know he's been banged up a little bit this year, and he'll probably be questionable, but if Achane's playing, you might be in trouble there. After that, Sonic and Knuckles, two-headed monster, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery there for the Lions. And then last 2 games of the year, you did well against him the first time, but I still like his game. You got rookie Quinshawn Judkins, and then Derrick Henry. He's going to meet you one more time in the last game of the season. So the run defense, they still need to figure it out, and figure it out very, very damn quick. Winner number 2 from yesterday's game. Got to go with the man who secured the game with the sack, Alex Highsmith. He was everywhere yesterday. He didn't just, make his presence known on that game-ending sack on Jackson. He was a force to reckon with all day long, was constantly in the backfield, had 7 additional tackles on top of it. Just overall looked like he overmatched Ronnie Stanley over there at left tackle. And that is the type of stuff that you want to see on a regular basis from Highsmith when, he's still got TJ Watt on the other side. And he did all of this, of course, with a little bit of a bum ankle. Had at some point there, I think in the second quarter, was limping around on the ankle. Not sure if it was the same ankle injury that he had earlier in the season. Got that taped up, went back out there, fought through for the rest of the game, and ended up making the biggest play of the day. So Highsmith, winner number 2. That is definitely worthy spot for him there. Loser number 2 yesterday, not a player. Instead, a loser will be the Steelers' medical staff, because they are going to be awfully busy for the next 7 days leading into the Dolphins game. So many injuries yesterday for the Steelers. I'm not sure if anyone on that Steelers roster walked out of M&T Bank Stadium yesterday without some sort of ailment. Just, going off of what I see here and off the top of my head. Offensively, Andres Pete, starting left tackle, filling in for Broderick Jones, who's already on injured reserve. He had a concussion. Ben Skoranek, he had a bit of a finger injury as well. On defense now, thinking over to that side of the ball. Darnell Washington, excuse me. He missed a good half of the game with a concussion. Took a nasty spill on his shoulder and head. Hopefully he's all right. Defensively, tons of guys got banged up. Keanu Benton, one of the first, plays of the game, ankle injury. Mentioned Highsmith fighting through an ankle injury. Malik Harrison took a nasty shot from Derrick Henry, concussion protocol. Patrick Queen re-aggravated his glute injury, I think. He's going to be, I'm sure, limited next week. Some guys in the secondary. Brandon Eccles was put in concussion protocol. James Pierre, I think he at one point in the game, I saw him grabbing at his shoulder. So tons and tons of injuries sustained in this game. Absolutely hate to see it. That's AFC North football. You're always going to have bumps and bruises like that. Hopefully it's not too serious in that they are able to make recoveries. The concussions, though, are especially worrying because those aren't, something you're going to be able to put a timetable on. You don't know how someone's going to recover from that. And at least 5, maybe even 6 guys yesterday went out of the game with concussion protocol. So hopefully they will be all right. Winner number 3, the final winner that I am going to get into depth on from yesterday's game. Think besides Aaron Rodgers and Alex Highsmith, the third clear definitive winner from yesterday's game had to be DK Metcalf. Finally, for the first time in pushing 2 months now, I would say, your $150 million, $30 million a year wide receiver one looked like and produced like a wide receiver one. 12 targets, 7 catches, I believe 148 receiving yards for DK Metcalf, averaging little over 21 yards per catch. That is what you need. Not every week, but you need that type of production every other week from DK Metcalf. At least, don't let him result back to those games where he has 2 catches for 9 yards and you only hit him on a couple of screen plays. No, you got to utilize that guy. He's getting paid the big bucks. You got to use him and get him going in any way, shape, or form he can and force feed him the ball if you have to. So Metcalf, outstanding game yesterday. Also, bonus brownie points for DK Metcalf. Mentioned that Ben Skoranek finger injury that I think he missed the rest of the game with. Metcalf yesterday played a rep at gunner on special teams. $30 million playing special teams. Even drew a double team on it, which, 6'4", 230 pounds. You better be doubling that guy or else he's going to run through your guard there on the outside and go down and destroy your return man. So even brownie points there for Metcalf. I don't think it was something he was told to do. I just think he saw Skoranek still getting worked on the sideline and took it upon himself to go out there and play gunner. So that is an all-around team play there for DK Metcalf. Massive kudos to him. Still concerned for DK Metcalf, though. This morning, got a bit of news. Metcalf yesterday did not fly home with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He stayed overnight in a Baltimore hospital, according to Steelers PR person Burt Lawton, was going to fly home with the team, then experienced stomach pains on the flight, and out of abundance of caution, the team medical personnel sent him to a nearby hospital. Metcalf apparently, I think, is all right and was scheduled to fly back to Pittsburgh today. I wouldn't doubt if he's there already. So no significant internal injuries for Metcalf. I think he took one hard shot in that game. Maybe that's what caused that. So too early to tell what his status will be for Monday night. Hopefully it's was just, a precautionary thing and he will be good to go. So we will keep monitoring that DK Metcalf situation, but that does not take away the hell of a game that he had against the Ravens yesterday. Last loser here before we get into some extra winners. Final loser. Was contemplating, giving this to a couple of people. I could have given it to Arthur Smith because, that dumb play call again, but I'll give him a break today. I could have given it to maybe Joey Porter Jr. Thought he had another rough day, couple of ticky-tacky penalties and things like that. But I think I'm going to give my final loser, and we talked about this before the game yesterday. Final loser isn't even a guy who played in the game. It's going to be Roman Wilson, inactive, surprisingly, yesterday. Second-year man out of Michigan, and Wilson, healthy and active for 32-year-old Marquez Valdez-Scantling, just elevated from the practice squad, and a 35-year-old Adam Thielen, who was still, I think, learning the offense. So, I hate to say it, but that might be the nail in the coffin of the Roman Wilson era here in Pittsburgh. I hope that I'm wrong. I do like the way he plays the game and hope that production comes with it someday here, but we will monitor the Roman Wilson thing. He a loser from yesterday's game for being the odd man out in that situation. Some other winners, loose end winners from yesterday's game. Not going to get into them too much. Steelers offensive line, thought they had a fantastic day. Pass blocking for Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers wasn't under duress as much as we've seen in previous games. And even when he was in trouble, the offensive line were able to give him a hole out of there to escape the danger. Shout out, by the way, extra to Dylan Cook. Came in for Andres Pete when he entered concussion protocol. I thought held his own all right there at left tackle. Some extra winners, James Pierre, Brandon Eccles. Want to mention those two guys together. Eccles making two big plays early in the game on third downs. James Pierre, another interception for him. Those two gentlemen saving the Steelers secondary. Who would have thought that earlier in the year? Adam Thielen, going to give him a spot here in the extra winner category. Only had the one catch, like I said, but didn't, embarrass himself. Looked like he was, as the game went on, slowly starting to get what was going on offense. And the last winner that I want to mention today, Ben Skoranek. Yes, had the finger injury, but still dog on special teams. There is a video circulating out there of Skoranek just getting, some serious work in as a gunner on special teams, getting double teamed, and he never gave up on the play and was fighting through at least 8 or 9 penalties there. So hell yeah there for Skoranek. And that will wrap things up for winners and losers from yesterday's game. So there we go there. Going to go back to the comments section, get a couple of thoughts from you guys on this here. Let's see here what you guys got here. Concepts here. Very true. Biggest loser yesterday was this week's potential injury report. Hopefully it's not all that bad. Agreed there. Concepts 100%. That is going to be a very long time at the podium for Mike Tomlin when he gets to that point in his press conference, assuming he still has that tomorrow with the game Monday night. I have no idea whether he's going to have his press conference tomorrow or Wednesday, so we will keep an eye on that. Rand's here again. Was cool. Might actually get a home playoff game this year. Hard to believe, but just got to win the division. Yep, got to take care of business, the Steelers, because, the AFC, it is a weak AFC this year. Hell, the Chiefs right now, they're 6-7 and not in a wild card spot, and they just got eliminated from contention for their own division. So who knows? But easiest way is to win the division. If you don't, it's gonna be a absolute mess to map out who's going to get these wild card spots here. Looking here, seeing if there's anything else. Tortilla here again. Running game was bad, but I think it's because the Ravens' game plan revolves around stopping the run, and we just took advantage for once. Talking about the Steelers' running game, they had maybe 40, and that's being optimistic. Rushing yards, I do think they plan around stopping the run, and the Steelers' passing game was working pretty well, but would like to have a little bit more production from the running game. I think at one point, I checked on it yesterday, the Steelers' longest run of the day was 6 yards, and that was from Kenneth Gainwell or something like that. So, 1 week, you won. Offense was clicking, passing the ball, which is pretty rare for this team. So I will give them a little bit of a break, but got to figure it out here when you go up against these other teams. You got to be able to beat them in many ways and not just rely on one thing. Concepts here definitely schemed against their weak secondary, like that they took shots at Wiggins coming off of an injury. Yeah, he was, I think, the man in coverage on 2 or 3 of those deep balls. The second one for Metcalf, he was in coverage. They targeted each different guy. They targeted Marlon Humphrey there for one drive. They then went to Wiggins, another, targeted Awuzie, another drive. So they kept the Ravens on their toes there and were able to beat them that way. Looking here, concepts again, even though Thielen and MVS didn't do much, they got their feet wet. Game reps will help for sure. Seem to be open for DK too, just having that threat. Can't wait to see the all-22. Agreed. Thielen, MVS, especially Thielen, got him integrated into the offense, I think, a good bit in that game. Even got him a catch to get him involved in the game instead of just, being out there running practice routes. So I like that there from Thielen. I think you might see him get more involved here as the week's going on. Well, honestly, you need it heading into the final stages of the season here and hopefully into the postseason. Definitely need to stop the run, but I'm not worried about our running game on offense, says Torcha. Yeah, Achane going for 100. I'm maybe oddly enough not that worried about Achane as what some people might believe, because the Dolphins, they are coming up to Pittsburgh and it's most likely going to be cold, and we all know how the Dolphins play in cold weather up north this time of year. I'm more scared about Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. That tandem, they might rush for 300 yards, let alone 100 or 200. So that's probably the group I'm highlighting on my schedule the most here for what's rest in the year. Making a good point here. Rams stuffed Jonathan Taylor, held Henry to low yards. Did we hold Henry to low yards? I know Keaton Mitchell had that 50-yarder, but still feels like Henry was starting to heat up the more and more he got the ball late in the game. So, the only reason the Bills' run game was successful was they expected Josh to pass all over them and dramatically open up their running game. That was the case. They shouldn't have really done that. Remember back to that Bills game, the wind was absolutely howling, so they shouldn't have expected Josh to pass all over them. I would have put more emphasis on stopping the run, especially because Allen is such a dual threat quarterback, so he's a part of that running game as well. Concepts here. Really hope we get Harmon back ASAP. Absolutely, because the more and more sample size we get here, Harmon, when he's in there, the run defense is, night and day difference. I don't know what it is, but yeah, definitely need him back here ASAP. Monday night at home. Can't lose that one. They can, actually, because the Steelers have been absolutely horrendous on primetime television. Hopefully Monday night instead of a Sunday or Thursday night will be a different story. Concepts here. Roquan, a.k.a. Vontez Burfict, might be dramatic, but always seems to be headhunting after plays. Wasn't really paying all that much attention there to Roquan. Did make a couple of hard hits, but I'll have to watch it back to see if there was anything malicious. Concepts here with another comment here. I was actually implying this when in the winners and losers segment I said if the run defense isn't going to get better, try something or someone new. The Chargers waiving Naquan Jones today, longtime NFL defensive tackle. Don't know anything about him, but might be worth a look. I do remember Jones when he was with the Tennessee Titans. He's bounced around a couple of places since then, but at least he's a guy that and not, Ezezi Otamemwo or Broderick Martin Rhodes. I don't mean any disrespect to Otamemwo, by the way. He had a nice little game yesterday, but still, if you were to ask me, well, if you were to ask me before they signed him in the offseason, who is Ezezi Otamemwo, I'd say, is that a real person? And who Broderick Martin Rhodes is, I would have said, who? So at least Naquan Jones, I know a little bit, so that will make it a little bit of understanding move in my book. Achane was injured yesterday, but MRIs were positive. He is a weapon for sure. And that's an understatement. Apparently, the Steelers looked into him at the trade deadline, but were shot down immediately. Do remember that concepts. It was one of those situations at the deadline where we're like, why the Steelers with Jalen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell, and just spending a third-round pick on a running back? Why are they looking at Achane? And I think Breece Hall was also mentioned at the time. So, yeah, I was wondering that two concepts, but we'll find out if the Steelers made the right decision or not. Aggressive or not aggressively pursuing Achane at the deadline. 25 for 98 total, pretty sure for Henry. 3.8 yards per carry. Honestly, a win versus him. Yeah, I mean, gave the ball to him a lot. Thing is that if he does that again to you, I'm pretty sure he's going to break off one of those to the house. 98 yards on 25 carries. I don't think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty lucky, if we're going to be honest here. Gary Sedestrom in here. Welcome, Gary. You never get your hopes up. The NFL is a week-to-week league, so you just enjoy the win for the next week. Then you do it all over again Sunday and have a heart attack. Agree with that. Happy that the Steelers won against the Ravens, even though I still am upset that the Steelers are going to go 9-8 and lose the playoffs. And I'm sure a small part of us wants to, if the Steelers are going to continue to be this insufferable, at least, lose out and, get a good draft pick. But when it comes to rivalry games like yesterday, the Ravens, I think you saw it on stream. I was getting fired up, about to drop multiple profanities on John Harbaugh. You live for those games and you want to beat them no matter where you are at your stage in the organization. So, yeah, agree with that there, Larry. Dolphins absolutely suck in the cold. Absolutely true. They're Freight Train. I'm not sure if that's your first comment or not. Welcome, Freight Train. Also, welcome to Lance 33. Welcome, Lance. Shout out from Mon Valley. Good to roll with you again. Glad to have you here, Lance. Concepts here again. Hate the cold, but hope Pittsburgh is cold on a Monday because of what Freight Train says. I wonder what the attendance is going to be like there on Monday. Honestly, Monday night games, Steelers fans usually that's usually one of their lesser attended times and days to go to games, and if it's gonna be super cold on top of it. Wonder how that's gonna shake out there. Doubt any Dolphins fans are gonna make the trek up from sunny Florida to watch the Dolphins against the Steelers, but just wondering if we might see more yellow seats than what we're accustomed to. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 15 of you in here right now. Welcome here to the live stream. On your way in, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing here on the channel again. Trying to figure out my banner situation here to pop these up on screen like this. For some reason now, the software I use has added in a feature where it leaves a timer on how long they will be up. I think I turned it off now, so hopefully this banner will stay here this time. Going to get back into your comments, probably mostly on the Steelers here in a second. Just want to, now that we're past an hour on stream, switch things up real quick before we get into the extra Pittsburgh news here for the evening. Going to change things here over to the local hockey team for a second. We're going to talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins here just for a few minutes, and then we'll get back into some Steelers football. Since we last met in this form, a normal weekday news stream like this, the Penguins have played 2 more games. They, on Thursday night, we were live on the channel Thursday reacting to the Penguins and the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Pens in that game beating the Lightning 4-3. Lots of positive signs to take away from that crazy game for the Pens. Ville Koivunen, young rookie, got his first NHL goal that he's been hunting for a while. Evgeny Malkin staying red hot this season. 2 goals for him. And the Penguins, with Tristan Jarry really, really good in that game, were able to narrowly escape Flacco territory with the win. No goal was called on a game-tying goal from the Lightning due to a missed hand pass that who knows if it was or was not a hand pass. The Isaiah Likely catch yesterday in the Steelers Ravens game wasn't the only controversial call in the past week for Pittsburgh sports. So Penguins did somehow escape with the win there in Tampa, 4-3. Power play looked good. The kids, Ben Kindle, Ville Koivunen looked good. The old guys, Crosby, Malkin, they looked good. And the goaltender, Tristan Jarry, hot in net still. On to yesterday, though. You see the Penguins taking on the Dallas Stars yesterday. Before we got to last night's game, the Penguins did make a series of roster moves while we were live for Steelers Ravens. They activated forwards Noel Acciari and Justin Brazeau off of injured reserve. Good to have those two gentlemen back, especially Brazeau, who was at one point the Pens' leader in goals on the team. They optioned, or I should say they brought back from conditioning loans in the minors, defenseman Harrison Brunick and Jack St. Ivany, and forward Boko Imama was sent back to Wilkes-Barre in the AHL. But even out of all those roster moves, the most notable piece of news yesterday from the Penguins, Evgeny Malkin, out of the lineup yesterday for the Pens. He is day-to-day with an upper body injury. He did not practice on Saturday when the Penguins normally have a practice before they play a game. It was said then that it was just a maintenance day for Malkin. Nothing was wrong with him. He even went, I think, to a Dallas Mavericks game. And then, boom, about 3 hours before puck drop against the Stars, Gino won't play day-to-day with an upper body injury. That's all we know right now. So hopefully Malkin is all right. That is a brutal loss for the Penguins. The two-headed monster that seemed to be aging like fine wine, Crosby and Malkin, they have been borderline unstoppable as of late. And hopefully whatever this injury is, hopefully minor to Malkin, doesn't slow down the tear he's been on so far this season. With Malkin absent, the Pens did have to do a bit of shuffling with their lineup yesterday. Tommy Novak got moved up to the top line with Sidney Crosby and Brian Rust. Kevin Hayes back to a center role on the second line with Anthony Mantha and fresh off of IR, Justin Brazeau. The bottom two lines did stay together for the most part. McGroarty, Kindle, Koivunen, the kid line remained together. Dewar, Lazat, Acciari, that fourth line for the Penguins reunited. The defense pairings, only one change. Matt Dumba entered into the lineup against his old team, paired with Ryan Graves, and Tristan Jarry was back in net for the Pens last night. They went into, I think, what was formerly called American Airlines Center. I'm not sure if it's still called that there in Dallas. The Stars, 9-game point streak they entered last night's game on, and the last time they had such a streak was earlier this year, this calendar year. But last season, the Pens ended a 10-game point streak for the Stars back in April. So hopefully more was to come from the Pens in this one. Started out the game well, a bit of a back and forth start to the first period, but then the fourth line, like I said, reunited. Noel Acciari making a nice play in the neutral zone, gives it to Blake Lazat. He hits Connor Dewar, who just lasers it past Jake Ottinger. 1-0 Pens as the first period comes to an end. Second period, though, started off in the Stars' favor. Jamie Benn on a 2-on-1 for Dallas coming in on Jarry. He's able to sneak one past the Pens netminder to tie up the game. Shortly later, though, Tommy Novak would put the Pens back up by 1. He deflected home a Chris Letang shot. That now brings Tommy Novak to 6 points in his last 5 games, so he's putting together a nice little stretch here. The Pens at that point, mostly good news in the game after the second period. They held the Stars to just 10 shots through the first 40 minutes. Bad news, though. Brian Rust did get a little dinged up in the second period. He was fortunately, though, able to return in the third. But the Pens, they tried to hold the Stars at bay. Second best team standing-wise out west in the Western Conference right now. The Stars pushed, and they finally broke through. They had a favorable matchup. The Pens were caught out there. Fourth line iced the puck. They were out there for 2 minutes, dog-ass tired. And then with the goalie pulled, Dallas was able to tie up the hockey game. Game went to overtime. And that overtime last night between the Pens and Stars was wild. Tristan Jarry stood on his head, robbing Jason Robertson twice. I believe robbed Mikko Rantanen once. The Pens had some chances as well. Brian Rust and Ben Kindle had excellent scoring opportunities. Nothing doing in overtime, so the game went to a shootout, and we all know how those go for the Penguins. Didn't score on any of their 3 attempts. Mikko Rantanen, the third shooter for Dallas, was able to put one past Tristan Jarry, unlike what he wanted to do in the overtime period. Final score 3-2. That now makes it 8 straight shootout losses for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Their last 8 times they've gone to a shootout, they have not been able to convert. And honestly, for watching what the Pens did on this past road trip, playing 2 teams, 2 excellent, near locks for the playoffs, they played well, took 3 out of a possible 4 points. And if the biggest gripe is how this team performs in the shootout, then I guess that's a good, issue to have at this point in the season. So overall, pleased with what the Pens did on this road trip, being very competitive with those 2 outstanding teams. And now they are going to hopefully continue their success from the road trip tomorrow night. They will resume action at home against the Anaheim Ducks. The Pens were scheduled to have a practice today, but that was canceled. Their normal 12:30 practice on a day before a game was canceled today. Wonder if that's for Evgeny Malkin reasons, if, guys are sick, if that was, just a coach's decision to say, hey, they earned it for how hard they played during that road trip. I don't know. So anything new on the Pens, we will get information on tomorrow. 15 of you were in here a moment ago. Now we're back down to 11. Please like, share, leave a comment in the comments section what you guys want to talk about. We're going to get into, I should say, some Pittsburgh Steelers extra news here in a second to kick off the extra Pittsburgh sports news portion of the live stream. Let's go back to your comment section. A couple more comments while I was doing that Penguins segment. Vaughn Anderson in here. Welcome, Vaughn. What do you think about the likely catch? The likely catch, I see people comparing it to the Roman Wilson catch from, earlier in the season, which, I don't think that's a good comparison because Wilson had like 5 steps compared to Likely's 2. Here's the thing. Is it a catch in the definition I think Gene Steratore, former NFL referee, now rules analyst, put out there? No. Did the first 2 things, didn't get the third step, the football action or whatever. However, in the end zone, should that be a touchdown? I'm leaning 55 or 51% yes, 49% no. The reason why I'm putting it there is because I do have a little bit of Steeler bias here. Could it have been a touchdown? I think yes in the end zone. However, if that same catch is made, say back at the 40-yard line, then it's probably incomplete. I think you got to have a new, different, type of rule set for what's a catch, out in the field of play and what's a catch in the end zone. Like, this goes back to the whole Jesse James thing. Why isn't, that a catch? If, Likely catches that ball like that, I mean, could Santonio Holmes's thing have been different? I don't know. Could it have been a catch? I'll probably lean a little bit towards yeah, but I'm not going to be complaining because, Steelers, they've been screwed all year by the officials more than they've been receiving help. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a call like that comes against the Steelers in the next game. So this will all circle back around eventually. Freight train in here. My wife's friend bought tickets to the Monday night game months ago and is now regretting it because it's going to be so cold. Yeah, not sure what the forecast is. I know there is going to be a snowstorm, winter storm, apparently rolling through Western Pennsylvania heading into the weekend. How that will affect Monday night, we'll have to see here. Looking here, freight train again. Josh Yohe said Morgan is coming back next game, or Malkin is coming back next game, and that was just a standard day off. Well, he said that on. Didn't he say something similar to that? Before the Stars game, and that didn't turn out. So I'm going to be a little skeptical about what gets reported on Malkin. Hopefully, he's able to. Hopefully, he's able to get back out there. Pens definitely need him. Concepts, I knew you'd like that. Screwed all year. Facts. Lance 33 Gino is a good dude, local guy from Laurel Highlands. Talking about Gino Malkin or Gino person that that's not a 6'5" Russian hockey player. There, Lance. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on stream for nearly an hour and 20 minutes now. Let's get things back rolling here. You can get your final comments here. Gene Steratore. Okay, Gene Steratore. I got it now. Okay, might have mistakenly typed an O instead of a E in there. Gene Steratore. Yeah, I do like Gene Steratore as a rules analyst. What I wish the NFL would do is I watched, Pitt Football, ACC Network. They've done this thing all year where you go into the situation room and you get to listen in to what they're talking about and how they're making a call or fixing a call. I wish the NFL would do that, but I think we all know that they won't do that. Going to get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news. Like I said here, let's breeze through these really quickly because there is a lot to go through. Over the weekend, this was kind of odd. Started Saturday and ended on Sunday morning. After all of last week, Mike Tomlin getting grilled, questions about his future with the Steelers, if he should get fired, if he should walk away. It sort of all came to a head on Saturday night. Adam Schefter, top NFL insider for ESPN, he did come out with a report Saturday night saying the Steelers are not going to fire Mike Tomlin, but they do have a significant decision to make on March 1st, which is to pick up the option in his contract. The Steelers must decide to pick up the 2027 option in Mike Tomlin's contract. He will be back for 2026, but they could shave off that final year of his contract in 2027. Schefter bringing that up, saying, quote, there will be organizational meetings and decisions that occur, but none until after the season is complete with a full body of work for all appropriated parties to review. Nobody in the Steelers organization or around the NFL expects Pittsburgh to fire Tomlin. The organization hasn't fired a coach since 1941. Then Ian Rappaport yesterday chiming in on this, head NFL insider for NFL.com. He said that the Steelers are not going to fire Mike Tomlin, not just because of, the whole contract pickup thing, but also because of the relationship with Art Rooney II. That's what Rappaport had to add to this whole thing. Interesting, though, speaking of Tomlin, former Steelers defensive lineman Braden Fehoko was on 93.7 The Fan last week, and he did clear up some things about Mike Tomlin, saying Tomlin does have some major say in construction of the Steelers roster. He does also input and heavily influence defensive play calls when he wants to. So Braden Fehoko, former Steelers D lineman, who this isn't, going back, decades to James Harrison and Ben Roethlisberger and Joe Hayden and those types of guys. This is a guy who I believe for a couple of weeks was on the Steelers training camp roster, and he played for Pittsburgh for a few years even before that. So this is a guy with some recent knowledge and know on the situation and what's going on there on the sidelines, on game days, and in the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex on the south side during the week. So keep that in mind. We all thought it, but Fehoko confirmed it. Tomlin does indeed have way more sway than what some other fans and insiders give him credit for. An update on what else happened yesterday across the AFC North. Steelers, they not only won, but they did get good news on some other games with AFC North rivals. The Cincinnati Bengals, they looked like they were going to give a beating to the Buffalo Bills. They were up 21-7 at one point in the game. They were up 28-18 with under 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And then Joe Burrow, with some interception issues, almost entirely threw the ball away. The final score, 39 for Buffalo, 34 for Cincinnati. So the Bengals with another loss. They're now 4-9. They're pretty much down and out in terms of playoff chances, unless both the Steelers and Ravens somehow have complete collapses. Also news for the Bengals today, they are releasing third-round pick wide receiver Jermaine Burton out of Alabama. Was thought to be one of the better wide receivers in his draft class. Then multiple issues off the field have slowed down the start to his NFL career, and now he's going to need to find a new place to continue playing football. Zach Taylor, Bengals head coach, did say he hopes that he's able to figure things out. Over to the other AFC North rival in action yesterday besides the Bengals, the Cleveland Browns. They losing to the Tennessee Titans, officially eliminated from playoff contention. It's like what we thought. They just put that tweet, NFL, Fox Sports, they just put that on a timer every year. Post Brown this time, the Browns eliminated from playoff contention. And not only that, you want to know what makes that loss to the Titans funnier? Myles Garrett, according to PFF, held to a 4% pass rush win rate, second lowest in his career. Do we all remember who the Titans paid, I think, around $85 million to be their left tackle for one Cam Ward? His name's on the tip of my tongue here. Sort of rhymes with Fan Door Jr., something like that. I don't know. It'll come to me later. Some more here on extra stuff that went on in relation to the Steelers over the past couple of days. Let's do an update real quick on some former Steelers players. George Pickens and the Cowboys, they were in action on Thursday night while we were live for Penguins and Lightning. And the George Pickens that we knew here in Pittsburgh finally showed up in Dallas. Dallas was starting to get blown out in the game by Detroit, and Pickens lacking effort on multiple routes and plays late in the game. Richard Sherman, Thursday Night Football analyst, called him out for it after the game, saying Pickens uninterested in football, disengaged, disappeared, half-assed it, unacceptable. And in typical George Pickens fashion, when, after he gets called out for his BS, he then fights back on the keyboard and on his cell phone. No Michael Brewerly this time. Pickens now officially has a Twitter account, but this came off of Instagram, calling out Richard Sherman, calling him a whole bunch of profanities that I'm not going to say here. So much so, Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer said he will speak with Pickens regarding that social media post. That was back on Friday, so who knows if that talk happened yet. All I can say is, one THP, you're in here. Welcome to the George Pickens experience. Knew it was finally gonna happen there. It was only so long before the Green Goblin mask was finally gonna start talking to him again. Former Steeler player news. The Buffalo Bills, we remember last week, claiming Darius Slay off waivers. Slay did not report to Buffalo, said he was going to take some time off to contemplate continuing playing football. The Bills on Friday placing Slay on the did not report reserve list. So he is still a part of Buffalo, but has not shown up still yet. Still crazy that happened, because now the rest of Slay's contract off the Steelers' books, and he is getting paid by the Bills to not play for them. So that's crazy. Last former Steeler update here. Veteran safety Damontae Kazee played last year with the Steelers, was with the Browns to begin this year. Kazee, after getting cut by the Browns earlier in the season, he is signing with the Detroit Lions practice squad today. So the Lions, who they are getting banged up, Brian Branch, one of their outstanding safeties, just tore his Achilles last week. Could be seeing Damontae Kazee on the Steelers' schedule here in 2 weeks against Detroit. Last couple of loose end Steeler things here, related to the Steelers at least. The Browns, they will be keeping Deshaun Watson. He will be on their roster next season, though he is unlikely to return this season. That came from Adam Schefter 2 days ago. That's absolutely hilarious. Keep being the Browns, they're Browns. This just sort of national NFL news, but of course the Steelers' field situation and how it came under fire earlier this season might be affected by this. The NFL introducing new field surface standards coming at the end of 2027. All fields must meet the same surface standards. The NFL will implement a program requiring teams to choose a field surface that will come from a library of approved and accredited NFL fields. Anyone who has an existing field will have to replace it by the end of 2027. So we could be seeing a change in what the grass looks like and how it is managed at Acrisure Stadium here in a couple of years. A couple of fine updates. This back to the Bills game here. Cam Hayward, DK Metcalf, Peyton Wilson, all getting fines for things that they did in the Buffalo Bills game. Hayward fined nearly $12,000 for taunting during the Bills game. That's a bit of a weak sauce there. Metcalf fined nearly $15,000 for a violent gesture, ended up making a finger gesture in the shape of a weapon. That's a no-no. And Peyton Wilson fined for unnecessary roughness on 2 separate plays. That final tag coming out to around $14 million or $14,000. 14 million. Peyton Wilson might be broke. So my mispronunciation there. And the last thing here for the Steelers today, happy birthday yesterday to Steelers legend, offensive guard, and Pro Football Hall of Famer Alan Faneca. And happy birthday today to former Pittsburgh Steelers player and coach Dick Hoke. Switching things over here in the extra Pittsburgh sports news. Got some Pittsburgh Pirates news to talk about here. First time we're mentioning them here today. Back to what happened Thursday night while we were live for the Pens and Lightning. We covered this trade and reacted to it in real time. But for those of you who do not know, I will fill you in now. The Pirates, they made a trade Thursday night. They traded right-handed starting pitcher Johan Oviedo and 2 minor leaguers, left-handed pitcher Tyler Samaniego and catcher Adonis Guzman, to the Boston Red Sox in exchange for outfielder Joe Stinson Garcia and right-handed pitcher Jesus Treviso. I'm going to try to pronounce his name here. Joe Stinson Garcia here. He is the headliner in this return to the Pirates. Garcia, the number 3 prospect in the Red Sox organization. He is number 76 on Baseball America's top 100 prospect list, 85 on MLB Pipeline. The password, his nickname for how his first name is spelled, JohnStynxon, Joe Stinson, I believe is how you pronounce it, Garcia. Honestly, little bit more excited about this kid than what I had reacting to this trade in real time Thursday night. Top 100 prospect in baseball for guy that that's just coming off of Tommy John surgery, and 2 minor leaguers who haven't sniffed the major leagues yet, and you get an 18-year-old pitcher on top of it, I will take that all day long. I think even Noah Hiles, one of the biggest Pirates beat reporters from last season, this type of return, getting a team's top 5 prospect, was the type of return the Pirates were trying to get at the trade deadline for Mitch Keller. So now in the offseason, you get to both, for now, keep Keller, but also you do get that prospect that you always wanted. So dare I say, Ben Cherington making a good move there. Garcia now gives the Pirates 6 players in the top 100 prospects per MLB pipeline. The other 5, besides the newbie Garcia, of course, Connor Griffin, Bubba Chandler, Seth Hernandez, Hunter Barco, Edward Florentino. I also believe Hiles put this out there that this is the highest prospect that Ben Cherington has ever acquired. So all of a sudden, Ben Cherington making good moves. Someone look outside. Are pigs flying yet? Also, Garcia made his debut for for whatever winter baseball league he's playing in. I think in Venezuela. Went 3 for 4 in his season debut. No idea whether he's going to continue playing quite yet. Real quick, as to the other parts of this trade, the right-handed 18-year-old Jesus Treviso, pitcher that the Pirates brought in along with Garcia, 18 years old. Still, though, impressive at such a young age, throwing a fastball in the 93 to 97 range, has even hit 100 at a couple of points. So that type of velocity at 18 years old, that's promising and something to take note of. And Johan Oviedo, of course, the main guy going back to Boston in this deal here from the Pirates. Want to say right now, don't think I said this Thursday night, thank you, Johan Oviedo, for all that you did. You were electric. Hopefully everything with your Tommy John surgery that you just came back from last year, hopefully that will be all right, and wishing you nothing but success in Boston, rejoining Aroldis Chapman. As for now, moving from the trade that the Pirates made Thursday night, let's go into some more recent news and speculations. Ken Rosenthal, MLB insider for The Athletic, senior writer, he has been lighting up Steeler fans' Twitter for in the past couple of days. Ken Rosenthal mentioning the Pirates a bunch in what he is hearing of what's going on at the winter meetings. Firstly, he said even though the Pirates parted ways with Oviedo, they are still looking into trading another starting pitcher, of course, other than Paul Skeens. Gotta assume Mitch Keller and Oviedo, both men were mentioned earlier this offseason as potential trade candidates. Gotta think that this other pitcher that the Pirates are trying to move would be Keller. And if you got that type of return for Oviedo, then sky's the limit for what you could probably get for Mitch Keller. Some other teams, they're keeping their starting pitchers. Some other, free agent pitchers, they're going to be asking for some lofty price tags. So Mitch Keller, he might be the belle of the ball or one of them when it comes to what teams are looking to acquire pitchers here in the offseason. You also had Ken Rosenthal saying that the Pirates, their goal this offseason is to add 1 or 2 regulars into their opening day lineup, plus 2 to 4 less proven players who could add depth. The Pirates actually did that as well on Friday night. The Pirates claiming outfielder Marco Luciano off waivers from the San Francisco Giants, 24-year-old versatility player there, former number 13 overall prospect in all of baseball back in 2022. Hit a .217 batting average in 41 games with the San Francisco Giants last year. So Luciano, love that little pickup there. As to some free agents that the Pirates could be going after, Rosenthal, again, pushing the agenda that the Pirates are in on Jorge Polanco, the second baseman, infield utility man for the Seattle Mariners. Ryan O'Hearn designated hitter / first baseman of the Orioles, but I think most recently the Padres, and then corner infielder Kazuma Okamoto from Japan. Those are among the free agent hitters that the Pirates are considering per Rosenthal. From Rosenthal to, I think, Ben Nightingale. He's also getting some Pirate fans' hopes up. Said yesterday that the Pirates are hanging around in the market of free agent first baseman Pete Alonso. Yeah, right. I will believe that one when I see it. Alonso is a guy who I wanted the Pirates, to go after last year. Didn't really take that all that serious. This time around, maybe a little different, but still, I will lose my mind if they get Pete Alonso. Don't think that that's really a possibility. Nightingale today saying that the Pirates are also in on second baseman Ketel Marte. Marte, not a free agent. He is under contract with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And yeah, Marte was, I should say, on the Pirates list of who they're interested in trading for. But then we found out before we went live earlier that Marte has a no-trade list per John Heyman, and the Pirates are indeed on that no-trade list. So scratch that one off the board. Back to Ken Rosenthal. He probably had the biggest news yesterday for the Pirates last night, saying that the Pirates have indeed made an offer to designated hitter Kyle Schwarber. All he does is hit bombs over there on the other side of the state for the Philadelphia Phillies. The offer in question is said to be a 4-year deal hovering between the $100 to $108 million range. So the Pirates maybe are actually serious on Kyle Schwarber, but I honestly don't believe it's that serious. I still think, 4 years, $100 million, 25 per year. Some team like the Red Sox or the Phillies who are trying to bring him back, they're going to one-up the Pirates probably pretty easily on that. So I'm not going to be all in, pushing all my chips in on Kyle Schwarber being a Pirate. Though it does make for two interesting things here. The Pirates are putting out this offer to Kyle Schwarber, and they want it out there, knowing that they are making this offer for Schwarber. I wonder if that's a message to some other free agents out there that the Pirates are serious about spending money and competing. That might take a little bit of the stigma away from the Pirates that, oh, you're just going to go there for half a season and get flipped at the deadline. And also, it makes it weird because the Pirates, I haven't seen really any other baseball team being mentioned this much as, oh, they're in on this guy and on that guy. Why is it the Pirates that are being, the talk of the town? And it's always them. The Pirates are in on this guy that's being reported. Why aren't we hearing anything from any of the other teams? I think that is pretty suspicious there. Last couple things here for the Pirates before we wrap things up here with a little bit of extra Penguins news. We did hear today from Pirates manager Don Kelly at the MLB winter meetings down there in Orlando. Said that he's had a lot of great conversations and a lot of great things are happening at the winter meetings. He is the team really has the ultimate goal of winning in Pittsburgh in 2026. So like that optimism there from Donnie Kelly. My only thing is that you're seeing the Pirates say, oh, we're offering this amount of money in this contract to this guy. Well, if you have one thing fall through, don't sit there, don't pout about it, and then go get, the newest washed free agent out there. If you're willing to spend $100 million on Kyle Schwarber, then you better spend $100 million among 2 or 3 other players. Then can't be, saying, oh, we offered this guy this, and then fall back to your normal 1 year, $5 million, situation that they always do. Last thing here on the Pirates here today, former Pirate Barry Bonds feel a little bad for him. Once again, missing out on induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame. He, part of the contemporary era baseball, he among the contemporary era group for Hall of Fame progression here. He did not make it, along with Roger Clemens, Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, and 3 others. Jeff Kent, former second baseman in the MLB, he's the only one making it out of this group. Onto the Penguins here, wrapping up the extra news today. The Penguins, we mentioned this Thursday briefly during the Pens Lightning live stream. Sale of the Pens apparently is still on, according to Pens beat writer Dan Kingerski. Fenway Sports Group still in the process of selling the Pens, most likely to the Hoffman family of companies. Kingerski reporting that the sale is still on, but that the progression of the sale is still going slow. So if I had to guess, probably not going to see any official word on a sale of the Penguins until the offseason, which honestly I would be okay with that. Leave as much distraction off the ice as you possibly can for the offseason. More talk about Tristan Jarry, who's been red hot between the pipes recently for the Penguins. Again, over the past 2 days was mentioned in trade talks again. Elliot Friedman, top NHL insider, saying that there's been a lot of noise around Jarry, saying that there's legitimate interest from the Oilers in him, but that a trade will probably not be possible because Penguins, they will not be retaining salary, contrary to some reports. And also the Oilers would have to do some major roster surgery to get it done. So Elliot Friedman from the top rope, top NHL insider, in my opinion, no Tristan Jarry trade is imminent. Speaking of reports on a Pens player being wrong, today we found out Team Canada, they just named their roster for the World Junior Championships, and Pens defenseman Harrison Brunick is a part of Team Canada, a bunch of young players there. Gavin McKenna, who's going to be the first overall pick in next year's draft. Some other good players, Porter Martone. Don't have the roster in front of me here, but Harrison Brunick, he will be leaving the Pens once again to go play in the World Junior Championships for Team Canada. Honestly, have no problem for it. Still stuck on 9 games here in his, warm up for the NHL. Pens still haven't decided whether they're going to keep him or send him back to the juniors. So at least have him playing meaningful hockey and not getting, taxed for it. That is always going to be a good thing, though. There were some reports out there that Ben Kindle was going to be on the roster, or at least that he was offered a spot, and obviously the Pens denying that. Why would you get rid of Kindle when he's a key part of your forward group right now? And the last thing today here on the Pens, speaking of young players for the Pens and their bright future, Will Horkov, of course, bringing him back up here again today. Michigan is who he plays for in the NCAA. He winning HCA National Player of the Month last week. Already has 19 goals on the season and counting, does Horkov. He is going to be in the black and gold before the season ends. I can assure you that one right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I think that just about wraps things up here tonight. Real quick before I get your final comments here for the night. Let's just real quick see if we have any new news since we have been live on anything going on Pittsburgh sports related. Penguins, Pirates, Steelers. See if there's anything going on here. Seeing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just brought back Jason Pierre-Paul. That's interesting. Looking here. You want to talk about the night and day difference with and without Derek Harmon. The Steelers with Derek Harmon. Shout out Steelers Network for this. Steelers with Derek Harmon this season. 9 games. averaging the opponent 4 yards per carry, 96 rushing yards per game, and 4 touchdowns. Without Derek Carr, 4 games, 4.8 yards per carry, 191.2 rushing yards per game, 6 touchdowns. Holy hell. That is a major difference. Pretty big than what I was expecting. Got a mock draft here from PFF. Not sure who did this mock draft, but this is interesting. Quarterbacks are going high in the draft next year, according to this mock. They go 1 and 2. Fernando Mendoza to the Jets, Dante Moore to the Raiders. And then there's not a quarterback selection until number 19. Who owns the 19th overall pick? The Steelers. What quarterback do they pick? Ty Simpson from Alabama. See, I would like that pick a whole lot more if I hadn't just seen Georgia steamroll Bama in the SEC championship, but maybe my thoughts on that will change here when we head into the offseason. Looking here, we got another quote from the MLB winter meetings. Pirates general manager Ben Cherington. I don't know if it'll happen in the next 3 days, next week, or next month, but confident we're going to be able to land some stuff that makes us feel better about the team, specifically the position player group and the depth of the lineup going into spring training. Confidence is your weakness there, Cherington. How about we instead of hoping, just get aggressive and get something done? I'm tired of hoping and wishing, so please. I don't care if it's an overpayment. I will take an overpayment for a position player at this point, just something to, make us a better team, please. According to Jorge Castillo here as well, seeing this half an hour ago, ESPN baseball writer, the Pirates among the teams interested in signing utility man Willie Castro. Now that is a signing that I would like to make. Former Minnesota Twin, ended the year with the Chicago Cubs. You want to talk about getting a Jared Triolo type guy that actually will have a bat for most of the season? I will gladly pick up a Willie Castro, but that better not be the biggest, what should I say? That better not be the biggest addition here. Interesting. Pirates general manager Ben Cherington spotted jogging in the rain at the MLB winter meetings. Because of course he is. Fantastic news. Holy hell. Is this true? Am I seeing this correctly? The Colts are planning to bring potential Hall of Fame quarterback Phillip Rivers into their facility Tuesday to work out and see if he may join their practice squad. Oh my God, that is hilarious. Oh, that is great. Phillip Rivers back to the Colts with Danny Jones out for the year. What a time to be alive. I would love to see it just for the fun of it. That would be hilarious. Okay. This interesting here. Darius Glover, baseball or Yankees guy, free agent infielder Jorge Polanco is expected to sign with a team at the winter meetings. That's per Jesse Rodgers of ESPN. So maybe Bob Nightingale or Ken Rosenthal, whoever said that, maybe they are onto something. Maybe Jorge Polanco will be a Pirate, maybe by the end of the end of the day, or the end of the week, I should say, for the winter meetings. We would definitely keep an eye on that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just wrapping up here with a couple of comments here. Burrow with the throw of the game just to the wrong team. I did see that against Christian Benford. At least 2 weeks in a row, Christian Benford was able to haunt an AFC North team. Looking here, three-element process of control. See that there, Rans. Jesse James, years ago. Again, it happened to us. Indeed it did. And yeah, Rivers. Rivers is maybe coming back. That would be hilarious. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on stream for nearly 2 hours tonight. Knew it was probably going to be a long one talking about this game last night for the Steelers and the Penguins, and so much to talk about, so much we got to today, and it's probably going to be a very active week ahead here on the channel. Pens in action tomorrow night, MLB winter meetings, the hot stove cooking there. We'll see if the Pirates make a move. And of course, we'll mix in a whole bunch of stuff for the Steelers along the way. So, exciting week ahead, all leading into a weekend off for the channel. And then back here next Monday for Steelers and Dolphins. Rare Monday night stream. This time, next week, we will probably be live or just about live. So, that will be fun then, watching Steelers, Dolphins. Hopefully, the Steelers able to field a team and not everyone who got injured. Hopefully they're all good to go. So I think that's going to do it here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining. This was fun and fun ahead for the rest of the week. On your way out, if you have not done so already, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing here on the channel. Again, like this live stream, share this live stream, leave a comment in the comments section. Also, go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and come back a little later on tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. That'll do it. Thank you all. Thank you for tuning in. Lighten up the comments section. And let's do this all again here tomorrow night. Maybe with a Mike Tomlin Tuesday and a couple of other pieces of news as well. So have a good rest of your Monday night. Go enjoy Monday Night Football between the Chargers and the Eagles. And we will reconvene here tomorrow. Have a good one. Peace.